and a holistic therapist for 14 years, and I'm going to carry on my Throwback Thursday films, and I'm talking about romantic films again, and I'm going to talk about this film by a guy called Wongkarwai, and it's called myblueberrynights, and it's from 2007. Now, Wongkarwai is from Hong Kong and has done great films like Chung Kong Express, In the Mood for Love, 2045, some really good films. And this was his first British film, so it's English featured film. Now, this film actually didn't do very well, but it's the screenplay by Wong and Lawrence Block. It's based on a Chinese language short film and directed by Wong Kar-wai. And this film stars Norahjones in an acting debut, and I don't know how she's never acted in films again, because she's really good in this. She's really believable, very endearing. Judelaw is very good in it. I know a lot of people didn't like Judelaw in the 90s. I think in the 90s or the 2000s they always found he was a bit too much, but I think Alfie, his version of Alfie, is better than Michael Caine's. And Judelaw, I think, has done some really good films. Even AI, which is a film I'll talk about in a few weeks. He's done The Talented Mr. Ripley. Judelaw's pretty much done some great work, and I think this is actually very strong for him. Rachel Weisz is in it, and then also Natalie Portman. And the cinematography of this film is excellent. So, what is the plot, and why did this film just not do very well? Well, it's actually, it did okay, it made profit, it just wasn't as big as it should be. But I'll explain the plot and you can understand why I like it. So Jeremy is an immigrant from Manchester. So an immigrant is someone who's a person who immigrated, often with a connotation of political or social self-exile, but also he's just decided to go to New York and owns a small New York cafe. He just decided he didn't want to be in England anymore, do something different. And he provides a customer, Elizabeth, which is Norah Jones's character, with clues that reveal her boyfriend is cheating on her. Devastated, she breaks up with him and becomes a regular at the diner, arriving late at night for blueberry pie, hence Blueberry Nights, and shares stories with Jeremy. One night, after they are assaulted in separate incidents, Elizabeth falls asleep at the counter. Jeremy sneaks a kiss while she sleeps, and she subtly smiles. Later that night, Elizabeth stands on a curb and sadly watches her ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend through their apartment window. Elizabeth decides then that, now calling herself Lizzie, drifts to Memphis, Tennessee. She takes 2 jobs, waitress by day and a bartender by night, to earn enough money to eventually purchase a car. She regularly sends postcards to Jeremy without revealing where exactly she lives or works. He tries to locate her by calling and sending postcards to all the restaurants in the area, but to no avail. One of Elizabeth's regulars at both jobs is a local police officer called Arnie Copeland, an alcoholic who cannot accept that his wife Sue Lynn has left him. She openly flaunts her new relationship with a young man, deepening Arnie's sorrow. He shows Elizabeth his pocket full of AI sobriety tokens and recounts his many attempts at sobriety. While on duty in Elizabeth's bar, Arnie drunkenly threatens Sue Lynn with his gun if she leaves, but he doesn't shoot her. Later on, he drives drunk, crashes into a pole and dies. Elizabeth confronts Sue Lynn at the crash site where she had first met him, suggesting he may have committed suicide. Before both women say goodbye to the town, Sue Lynn gives her Arnie's tab money, admitting she made a mistake and she missed him. While this, heading west, Elizabeth, who now calls herself Beth, gets another serve job at a casino in a small town in Nevada. She meets Leslie. This is the character of Natalie Portman, and an inveterate poker player who has lost all her money. Elizabeth lends her £2,000 in exchange for the money back, plus a third of her winnings. However, she loses, then Elizabeth gets Leslie's car, a new Jaguar. When Leslie does lose, she fulfills her promise, but asks for a lift to Las Vegas to borrow money from her. She calls to inform Leslie that her father's been admitted and is dying. She believes the call is a ruse to lure her back, but upon arrival she discovers that he actually died the previous night. Leslie announces she's keeping the car, which she had stolen from her father. He has sent her the vehicle's title and registration despite their estrangement. She confesses she actually won the poker game and subsequently helps Elizabeth negotiate the purchase of her dream car. Elizabeth returns to Manhattan, and the cafe where Jeremy has kept a stall at the counter reserved for her since she left. And as she eats a slice of blueberry pie, Elizabeth realises her feelings for him are reciprocated. She passes out on the counter after spending the night in conversation, and Jeremy again steals a kiss while she's asleep, but she returns the kiss. So, why do I like this film? Well, if we understand about spirituality, we understand about the cycle of life. And the idea is Elizabeth though she split with her boyfriend and she did like Jeremy, she obviously wanted to find her own way and find herself and find what her own direction was. By doing these different things, she learned all the things she learned from being in Memphis, Tennessee, being in Las Vegas, and she learned that after experiencing all these things, is that sometimes an opportunity where love is has to be taken. And so with the experience of going away, she then learns that Jeremy is actually the person who she should be with. Why I love this story is beautifully shot. The characterization, the depth of the characters is very much poignant. They're very realistic. You feel like you know them, like you've met these people in your life sometime. And I think with the film, like I said, the reception at the time, it didn't do as well as I think people expected. I think because Wongkarwai was such a great known director. It was actually Quentin Tarantino introduced him to the West. He actually got Chung Kong Express known and got it to Cannes and everything. And I think one of the issues with it was that although it did okay, it's one of them films that a lot of people do not like. They think it's very well filmed, but it's a mixed bag of dedicated performers working with thin material. The actual material isn't thin. What it is a lot of it is it gives the audience they actually can interpret it what they want from it. And I think this is why Wong Kar-wai is a really good director. So when you watch Chung Kong Express, some people could watch that film and think, oh, it's boring. Or they could even watch My Blueberry Nights and think it's boring. But it's actually not. It's about understanding the complexity of human relationships. And when you actually watch this film, it's very much a film where you can understand why people end up in situations and from their mistakes and how they don't observe things. And I think what this film does, it gives the actual viewer more, it's so much interpretation, there's so much development within it. It's not a thin plot, it's the basics of a skeleton plot, but the actual viewer makes it more than it actually could be. It could actually have been a film that fizzled out, but it actually doesn't. And I think as a film now, if people want to watch it for great cinematography, artistic direction, this is a film which I think should have done a lot better for its time. And I think it's actually kind of a cult classic in its own way. So, My Blueberry Nights, beautifully shot film, and actually watching Norah Jones in it, I don't know how she's never done another film, but you know, that's how it is sometimes. Some people, they just don't want to do it. I don't think Norah Jones actually enjoyed doing it. She was quite nervous, but I felt, to me, she really just was a natural. And